Hello again, welcome back to another one of these. I think this week I'm going to revisit an old friend. I know I've mentioned him in passing in the last couple of little videos, the live one I did last weekend and the one before that. I know I haven't done any extensive videos in a while, it's because I haven't really had the time, got a lot going on, but it has been, I certainly realised the other day, it has been quite some time since I've spent any amount of time looking at the vast plethora of material that is being made available by Mr. Level Up Observer. Going back over these last few videos, it's the same old, same old. He's probably still reeling from his catastrophic and humiliating abject failure to debunk the 50 something minute video that Simon, Dan and myself proposed to him to debunk, and all what was he got fixated on how the astronauts' hands touching the part of the space station that Level Up Observer couldn't identify, so he thought his fingertips were disappearing. Then there was something about some Velcro, some semi-transparent Velcro that just bent towards the camera, so in the low resolution looked like it vanished. It obviously hadn't, it was still there, it was just you couldn't see it because of the resolution of the video. And inconsequential cuts in the video. So it was a 55-minute video. If you think about 3 edits, or 3 where they've deliberately and in no way attempted any kind of subterfuge, what's the word I'm trying to put here? They've just cut the video for brevity, to chop out some bits that they didn't need. But if you equate the actual edits, it's less than a billionth of a second. And according to Level Up Observer, that's all it needs to debunk the entire video. Catastrophic, humiliating failure. And if you go back through his channel, he's trying to do it again. He's gone back to the same old ridiculing ladies' hair because it floats in space, or decades old or years old footage where somebody was holding an inflatable beach ball that's in the shape of the Earth and it popped out of his hand, and that's enough. Oh my God, it fell down because of gravity. No, it fell down that way because that's the way it was being pointed. If we'd squeezed it up, it would have gone up. But ignore that. So I'm not going to go over the last couple of videos where there was one where he tried to claim that the reflection in an astronaut's visor doing external work on the International Space Station showed there were 3 light sources. Now, Dave McKeegan and Where's Wally have done an amazing job of ripping that claim to shreds. One thing that all flat earthers like to do, David Weiss is particularly evil at this one, is cherry picking a tiny amount of footage out of a much wider media source and displaying it and presenting it for their own means. Now, in this case, what happened was that there'd been this small clip showing the astronaut using a GoPro on the outside of the International Space Station, and there were 3 light sources, very accurately 3 light sources, it appeared so, reflecting on his visor. Later on in that same video, without a cut, the camera panned round and saw there was just one sun. Now, what happened was, I'm really paraphrasing here, what had happened was the light source was reflecting off a reflective surface closer to the astronaut. They demonstrate it quite adequately with a mobile phone and a lamp. That's how simple you can do these practical and verifiable demonstrations the Level Up Observer is so obsessed with. And they showed it, this is how they did it. And because there were 2 layers to the astronaut's visor, there were 2 reflections. Again, I'll link to the video down below. Dave and Wally do such a good job of this. And it's quite surprising actually that Level Up Observer's video is still up on his channel, because he has actually deleted a few, I have noticed. There was one, I think it was going on about a lady's hair, International Space Station. I think it was only up for 2 days before it vanished without a trace. Funny that. Anyway, so I'm going to concentrate on a couple of videos. One I think came out today, the other one's a couple of days old. The one from a few days ago is just a little bit of a rant that Level Up Observer decided to go on. It's about 4 or 5 minutes where he displays a magnificent level of hypocrisy and double standards, where he complains bitterly about people misrepresenting his words.
Time is a valuable asset, which is why I won't entertain people who come to my comment section, lie and misrepresenting me. The same with regards to people linking propaganda videos, which are usually videos that have got lies and misrepresentations in.
Or something along those lines, when that is his entire raison d'etre, his modus operandi. I think I've used those expressions before. Where he basically takes things at face value, takes people's words at face value, doesn't do any kind of research or investigation into the basis for the statements or the basis for the image or anything along those lines, and takes it at face value and makes a comment on that. And God help you if you take him at his word, because by his own admission in this video, he will delete your comment and block you. Now, in the past, because I got blocked, it's quite a badge of honour. I was blocked and deleted from Level Up Observer at quite an early stage. I think it was over a year now, and I have posted proof in the past that he does indeed do this. But what I'm going to concentrate on this one now is a recent one he's done today, where he mocks a 3-year-old video of a rover landing on the surface of Mars launched by the Chinese Space Agency. I believe it's called, if you bear with me, I'm going to look it up now, because once again, making up. By the way, Creaky's done another video of Level Up Observer today where he was ripping on Brian Cox. It's hilarious, isn't it? Creaky, God bless him, he went off script. Basically, he didn't have a script, so basically he did what I do: just make it up as you go along, fix it in editing, and then just pretend you're George Lucas. Even though George Lucas didn't do that. If you know what I'm talking about there, you know what I'm talking about there. But as I was saying, what I was saying was that Level Up Observer decided to take it upon himself to disprove the Tianwen mission to land a rover on the surface of Mars, which they did in 2020. So even though it's the first thing that China has ever landed on the surface of Mars, he seems to be labouring under the misapprehension that they'd already sent something up there for the express purpose of recording the first thing they ever landed on Mars, landing on Mars. Let's have a look.
Get to see an historical moment from space caught on film live as the action unfolded. China essentially have got a 1990s computer graphic spacecraft to land on what seems to be a still image of Mars. Incredible stuff. We join the action as this was filmed live as the action unfolded in the control room. So let's have a look. 查看报告，所有巡视一致完成全工程。I might need to translate here. I've got very basic understanding, so you might have to bear with me. 地上机动，快速下降。现在正午根据遥测判断，着陆巡视器转入无控模式。At 3:33 p.m., the 1990s computer-generated spacecraft landed on the still image of the Martian surface.
Now, he has actually said this before about specifically the Indian moon landing, where the telemetry being sent back by the craft landing on the moon was enabled the space agency back on Earth to generate a 3D image, a deliberate 3D image of what the ascent stage or the landing may look like, purely for aesthetic reasons. So, for lack of a better expression, people have got something to look at other than the whole bunch of numbers that 99% of the people watching would not understand. The same can also be said for the landing on the moon, 1969. There's a famous interview, Buzz Aldrin, I think it was David Letterman or Conan O'Brien, said, "Oh, I saw you landing on the moon." It's probably Letterman, because Conan O'Brien's probably not old enough. He might be. Said, "I saw you landing on the moon." And Buzz Aldrin corrected him, said, "No, you didn't, because at the time there was nothing to record the Apollo capsules landing on the moon. There was nothing there."
The time does. I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you didn't.
was
No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation.
So there were no cameras set up. There was no person on the moon on a tripod, watching the lander as it came down. All the footage you saw of the moon landing was displayed after the fact, because there was nobody doing it live. But this is, of course, grounds enough for Level Up Observer to waste 2.5 to 3 minutes of everybody's life going over and over the same bullet points over and over again. Talking about 1990s CGI. I think he says about 7 times in the video, and then mocking the amazingly proud Chinese scientists and technicians who crafted this machine and landed it successfully on the surface of Mars. So well done then. So once again, like I say, I know it's been a while since I've paid any attention to Level Up Observer, and it would appear that nothing's ever going to change. You've got Dave McKeegan and Where's Wally completely ripping apart his theory about the 3 light sources, when in the same video the Level Earth Observer presented and provided as evidence, it was clear to see that there was only 1 light source and it was just bloody reflections. And then you've got this other video where Level Earth Observer is complaining bitterly that other people are citing his statements as material for their own videos, because when you're in this environment, this little world we're finding ourselves in, where you have uneducated but very proud people making stupid ass claims and making themselves ridiculous, that's cannon fodder. That's just material for everybody on the other side of the spectrum who knows 1,000 times more than Billy No Mates over here. Oh, that was probably a bit cruel. He's probably got 3 or 4 friends. Knows more than them about pretty much everything, can cite evidence and proof that everything they're saying is absolute garbage. Another thing that he did mention, which I found quite interesting in the video, was he was complaining there were so many adverts on the channels that are citing him and taking him at his word and the things he says.
And usually those type of videos have an abundance of adverts. I can't stand adverts either. So if you think I'm going to have my channel help promote propaganda videos that are about me, where people make money from those propaganda videos, lying and misrepresenting me, and then linking them videos in my comment section, and then getting upset and butthurt because those comments were removed.
There's a reason for that, Adam, Level Up Observer. Those channels are what we call monetized. Now, the reason these channels are monetized is because they are factual and they cite credible sources for their information. You guys very rarely, if ever, do. Now, I know that Level Earth Observer does actually fit the criteria for monetization on his channel. He has over 1,000 subscribers, produces so many hours of material per week or per month, and he probably gets so many unique views every month. That's the criteria you need to get monetized. I'm monetized. I'm not fantastically monetized. I think over the years, well, since a year or so I've been monetized, I've managed to gain and earn for YouTube a princely sum of about £120. Didn't buy a lot. I think I bought a phone, and the other thing I just wasted, you know. Got a couple of bottles of wine, you know, big expensive box of chocolates. I may have treated my family at some point, but probably not. But the point is, all frivolity aside, Level of Observer is, I don't know, if is he trying to doth protest too much? You can complain as much as you like about the videos that have got adverts, but we don't control the adverts. We can have some say over the type of adverts and where they appear in the video. We can say they're on the start or on the end. We can say they're in the middle. We can say if they're banners across the bottom, which I never do because I hate those ones, or the adverts down the side. You know, all this generates a small amount of revenue for people who are monetized, but the actual content of the videos, the adverts themselves, we have marginal control over. But for a lot of people, being a YouTuber is a business. There's a 3 or 4 people I know, not personally, but I do know. It is their job, and it's just primarily using YouTube videos and the YouTube revenue. Use Patreon and, you know, member rewards and things like that to gain a bit more revenue. But the fact of the matter is, these channels are popular, and the reason they are allowed to be monetized is because they are factual. They cite credible sources for the information they are relaying. If you dedicate your entire YouTube or social media presence into spreading lies and misinformation and stuff that you've been told is lies and misinformation on several occasions, then there's no wonder you're not making any money, because, as I said before, advertisers don't want anything to do with people like you. Of course, you could say there's a little bit of politics about if the YouTube channel in question is so popular that it generates huge amounts of revenue for both the person making the content and the advertisers themselves, then the lines could get a little bit blurred in certain aspects, and it's only till somebody hits the headlines by saying something or doing something they really shouldn't have that advertisers start pulling their content. Russell Brand, I'm looking at you. That's gone very quiet now, hasn't it? That's very strange. But anyway, I'm going to finish this one up. It was a bit of a ranty, wobbly, rambly, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff type video. Stop looking at me funny like that. Yeah, so just basically I'm checking in with Level Up Observer, and it's gratifying to see absolutely nothing has changed. The man will never learn anything, and he'll never choose to get educated. But I will say one thing. I'm not going to... what's going to be the best way to put this? It's often been said in the past, and it's noted by myself and other people, that Level Up Observer very rarely, if ever, shows his face. I think the only video I've ever seen that shows anything like he looks like is the one that Wally showed, the way I said that he looks a little bit like Sid from Toy Story. You know, surly demeanour, hates toys, black spiky hair. Sid from Toy Story, and it's to a T. But he does work in the construction industry, and he does work in a high-risk job. Now, I've said, one of the first videos I said about Level Up Observer is, well done him for getting the job he has, because that is a high-skilled job. Working in a crane, up on the high-rise cranes, that's a top skill, and there's nothing to be taken away from him for that. However, in my capacity as someone who also works within the building industry, I'm in a position where I can talk to several people, and I can talk to several people who own building companies and who own building firms who are self-employed or as part of larger companies. I will not name any of these companies. And on a whim, I've asked several of these gentlemen, and a couple of ladies actually, truth be told, if in a completely hypothetical situation, picture the scene if you will, you have somebody who you pay a large amount of money to do a very dangerous job that relies on physics and knowledge of momentum and inertia and things like that. If you knew this person was a flat earther and said, was a space denier, physics denier, said all these things publicly on a very public YouTube channel, would you continue to employ him? Let's say 95+% of the 70 people I asked that very simple question, if you knew your high-rise crane operator was an established and well-known flat earther, would he still be in your employ? More than 95% said no, they would fire him the second they found out. So, that is why Level Up Observer never shows his face. Because, let's face it, if you knew that somebody who was working in such a precarious job had such a catastrophically inept grasp of even the basic elements of physics, would you want him anywhere near your building site? And the answer, God's honest truth, even though I'm an atheist, was an absolute and resounding no. Thanks very much for watching. If you made it this far, we'll love you and leave you for Saturday, Sunday evening. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you the next time I put something on the internet. Thank you very much, and good night.